They say it takes time to feel at home in the mountains, to stop searching for a peak and start walking like you belong. By now the rhythm of the trail has softened me. The climbs don't feel like battles, the descents aren't a rush to the end. I move slower, but I see more. And somewhere between Germany and Austria, between the familiar and the new, I realize I'm no longer chasing the Alps. I'm finally walking with them. After the stormy night, the air felt lighter, as if the rain had rinsed away a weight I didn't realize I'd been carrying. Once again, I left my luggage at the hotel and my thoughts behind with it. I boarded a bus to Eibsee, melting into the quiet crowds of walkers and tourists cycling the lake. Nothing fast, nothing dramatic, just steps that wandered without a destination in mind. The sun, ever relentless on previous days, finally disappeared behind the blanket of cloud, just as I'd once wished it would. And with it came stillness. The clouds draped themselves low over the mountains, cloaking the lake in mystery. Eibsee looked almost otherworldly, a place half sketched in fog. Looping around the lake, I slipped away from the hum of voices and turned towards the German-Austrian border. The trail veered steeply up the slopes, barren now but built for winter. I tried to imagine them on the snow, alive with skiers and speed, but it felt distant, almost absurd. Weather not so great today, so we're heading over to Austria. 1 kilometer to go. Zug's spikes towered above me, so massive it couldn't fit inside the frame of my vision. At the border, I paused one last time to look back at Eibsee, then crossed into Austria. After a quiet stop at Hochfurler-Hütte, the path dropped gently into the Ehrwald valley. I found myself in something that felt like a scene from The Sound of Music. Tiny wooden cabins scattered across wide meadows, the Alps rising soft and gentle in the distance. I hadn't seen pictures of this place beforehand, one of the perks of walking a route planned for you. No spoilers, just surprise. And maybe that's why it caught me so off guard, how much I loved Ehrwald, not because I expected to, but because it simply arrived. I was completely taken by the design of my hotel room, the warm wood, the clean lines, the quiet thoughtfulness in every detail. And then there was the view, a balcony that opened straight onto the mountains. Something about it made sense, like I was meant to be there. Like this room, this moment, belongs to the mountains, and so did I. It was without a doubt my favorite stay in a while. enough hiking. Austria is looking pretty. The sun is out again. On my last day walking, something felt different. The weather was softer, the paths were quieter, even the air carried a kind of tenderness, as if the mountains were easing me into a goodbye. Once again I was climbing through thick woods, but this time I was mostly alone. The trail felt gentler. It wasn't about summits anymore, or escaping the heat. It was about soaking in these final hours, breathing in the stillness I had been chasing since day one. Eventually, the trees thinned, the world opened up. Suddenly, I was standing in a basin surrounded by peaks in every direction, a full 360 degrees of Alpine theater. I wasn't the only one to pause. A small group of hikers stood silently ahead, gazing up at the slopes. I followed their line of sight and saw wild deers picking their way across the hillside, graceful and calm, as if the world had always belonged to them. We watched without speaking. Later, as I climbed higher, something unexpected appeared. Ponies. One, then two, then more, emerging from the fog and the grass like a dream. They were majestic, sure-footed, and curious. I don't know where they came from or who they belonged to. They simply were standing in the alpine silence, approaching gently, as if I were part of the landscape too. At the top they gathered around, completely at ease in their mountain home. I stayed longer than I needed, watching them, smiling. They're so friendly. They're really curious and keep sniffing my camera. And then it was time to descend. The trail curled back toward Ehrwald, through open meadows and sun-dappled forests. Somewhere in those final steps, I felt something settle in me. Maybe it was the Tirolian air, or maybe the quiet knowledge that this trip was drawing to a close. But I felt peaceful, light, not chasing shade, not looking ahead, just walking, simply, through a place that felt both new and known. By the time I reached Ehrwald, I didn't want the day to end. Oh, hiking done. Maybe this is what I came here for all along. Not the views, not the milestones, but the quiet stretch of trail where I finally stopped searching. The Alps didn't ask me to conquer them, only to arrive with open eyes. To notice, to listen, to stay. And in the end, it wasn't the peaks that left the deepest mark, it was the stillness between them.